First of all, I'm 73 years old. I grew up in Lebanon. Lebanon is in the Middle East, close to Israel, Syria, Turkey, Cyprus. It's in that area, in the eastern part of the Mediterranean. I was 7 years old when I saw my first car. I never saw a car before till I was 7 years old. And you could imagine that compared to today. If kids, they know car before they know their name, before they know anything.
The year was 1946, just 3 short years after Lebanon gained its independence. Tony Assaf Trad was born. Lebanon experienced a period of tourism, agriculture, commerce, and banking. Its capital, Beirut, attracted so many tourists that it is known as the Paris of the Middle East. With all this attraction, Lebanon became a home for many entrepreneurs and businessmen.
I grew up in a very small town where my family lived for over 1,000 years. My family house is about 500 years old, so you could imagine how old that town is. Lebanon is a very small country, and the mountain is all the way down to the ocean, actually. The bottom of the mountain is at the ocean, and it goes straight up. They used to say the best thing in Lebanon is you could swim in the ocean in the morning, you could ski on the snow in the afternoon. That's how close things to each other. They have a mountain in Lebanon. It's the highest mountain in the Middle East. We used to live about halfway through. 1 hour to our place, another hour you take you to the high mountain. The peak of the mountain is like that. This side is the ocean. That side over here is this desert. Coming from Syria, from Iraq, it's the desert. Right on the peak of that mountain, if you stand in one step to the ocean side, it'd be about 20 degrees cooler than one step to the other side, that peak. So actually, if you're standing right in the middle, you could feel your right side cooler than your left side. That's how the weather changed over there. 2-lane road is like 1-lane road here in the state. It's so narrow, so skinny. If 2 cars come in opposite from each other, one of them have to stop, get off the road to let the other guy go. I was up in the mountain, right on the peak, and the shifter in my car got stuck in reverse. I drove 45 miles downhill, curvy road in the mountain in reverse. By the time I got down that 40 mile, my neck was so stiff, I didn't turn my head because I was turning halfway around to be able to drive in reverse all that distance. I don't think I'll do it again. There's no protection on the road. You miss the road, you're down 100 feet, not 100 feet. Till some rock or something stop you. There is school, it used to be a school in Lebanon. After high school, you could join that school. In the last 2 years in high school, you start take classes half the day, algebra, math, language, things like that. And the other half, you select some type of trade you like to be in. I took pattern making. Pattern making is whatever you make, you must make it through wood. From wood you put it to sand, from sand, just like making a mold. When I got done from school, there wasn't any place for me to work as a pattern making. The closest thing to it was furniture. I started make furniture. I found a small place right on the ocean, on the Mediterranean, just street between the water and my place. And I started with very small amount of money with 2 people to help me. And within 3 years, it grew very well. I did very good on it. It was wonderful life. It was beautiful. It was successful life. But in the meantime, it was a beginning of like civil war in Lebanon. It was a good time for me to be out of there. During that time, I decided to expand to the United States. My sister lived in Peoria area during that time. So I left Lebanon and come over to see the possibility of making furniture in Lebanon. And my sister will sell them in the state. That way we could work together. 1970, I come to the state in March 1970 with my wife. It wasn't long before we decided to stay here. Everyone outside the United States, they'll think, all what you have to do, go to the United States, you'll find a shovel ready for you, open that bag and fill that bag with the money, with the shovel, and go back home. That's the way the life in the United States to us. That's how we thought about it back then. That was very big shock for me because I lived there, because that's how I believed and that's how I've been taught. Within 2 months, I did have 3 jobs. As a wood carver, I carve cabinet, furniture, things like that for them. And I worked at Caterpillar, and after that, I went work behind bartender. I used to leave home in the morning like 6 o'clock. I come back 2, 3 o'clock in the following morning. So in other words, I slept like 2 hours, 3 hours a day. That's my first few years, not few months, that first few years in the United States. And that was 7 days a week. In my first interview over at Caterpillar, they asked me what type of machinery I know how to operate. I told them, you mention it and I'll tell you if I operate it or not. They say, how about drill? To me, drill, like hand drill. Oh yeah, I operated it a lot. I know how they operate. How about mill? Mill, I never heard of mill before. But I told him, yes, I operated mill. The guy asked me what's my name is, and my answer was yes, because that's how much English I know. So those 2 things to remember back then. Being in America, not knowing the language, not knowing anybody. My life in America was wonderful. I changed a lot. I learned a lot. I made it a part of my life to learn something every day. Doesn't matter how small or how big it is, I must learn something every day because I felt I'm way behind from everyone, so I need to catch up with the rest of people around me. I was lucky. I got a lot of help, and I read a lot of books, and I studied a lot all my life.